Welcome, everybody. How is everybody doing this evening? Let me get the chat pulled up here so I can keep an eye on this. There we go. Tampa, Florida. Lakeland, Florida. Everybody from all over. Appreciate y'all being here. Good to see everybody. Pete, Kevin, Joe, Pete, Jake, Jim, Raphael. Photo dude, it's my birthday. Happy birthday. Matt Pack, what's up, dude? Jonas. Rob from Napa Valley. Matthew says, just got back from trying street photography for the first time in years. How'd it go? Tell us about it. Hey, you're going to have to remind me, photo dude, your actual name. Happy birthday. Shout out to you for spending your birthday with all of us here. Arkansas. Minnesota in the house. Went all right, just moved to Seattle, little unfamiliar with the streets. Never been to Seattle. But good on you for getting out there and trying. Spider, that's right, what's up? Today I pre-ordered a Tiba Jefferson skate photography book. What? That's what I get for not being online. What book is that? Did that get announced today? Because I need to pre-order that immediately, if that's the case. I don't know about a book from Atiba. Dude, the live stream rig improves every week. Hey, I appreciate that. This is what we're trying to do here. We're tinkering every single week. I have tried so many different configurations, and this right now feels pretty good. I think it's going to work out well. It's not a finished thing, but yeah, we're dialing it in. I appreciate it. The book's coming out in October. Atiba Jefferson Skate Photography. Okay, well, I and everyone watching should pre-order that after the stream. I'm not going to right now, but you can believe I will be as soon as it's done. Matt, I met you in Atlanta last year at BNC. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah. That was such a fun trip. I got to meet so many people, like friends that I had never met in person before, but then also just so many different people that that have watched the channel over the years. That's so cool. It's so much fun. These live streams always put me in a good mood, says the angry online shopper. Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear they put you in a good mood. I've got an exciting thing that we're going to be looking at tonight. I figure, what time is it? We're a few minutes in. We've given everybody enough time to file in and say what's up. We have a new book that we're going to be looking at together for the first time. What's up, Matt? Good to see you. I have not opened this book up yet. This... You see, I ripped the shipping label off. I'm not going to dox myself on the World Wide Web. Let me grab a knife here. One sec. I'm in the process of rearranging all kinds of tools and different things out here as I continue to work on the insulation. And so I misplace, this blade needs replaced, misplacing stuff as I'm shuffling things from pile to pile and getting my bearings. What's up, Tim? Good to see you, brother. Let's see. Well, I guess it's not a, it's a box cutter, but you know, utility knife. It ain't an old timer knife. Haven't bought a photo book in ages. It's like an unscratched itch. Well, Mel, maybe you can scratch a little bit of that itch this way. Yeah, the multi-tool is in my in my house right now. So the book right here, again, I haven't looked at it at all. This just arrived today, but it is a book that I've been super excited about because it's a book from my good friend Tyler Woodford. Hold on one second. Oh, right on. That's nice. So, just wanted to make sure I wasn't revealing anything that I shouldn't. A Crack in the Sidewalk by Tyler Woodford. So, this right here. Thank you for, whoops, maybe it'll focus. Hey, whatever. It says, thank you for your patience, support, and patience. Enjoy. So, this book was originally going to come out in a different format, and it was going to look different, and it was printed differently. And when it came out, Tyler wasn't happy with how the finished product came out, and so he decided to have the book reprinted and send the orders out that way. Tyler's a good friend. He is someone who I've known for a while now, just through online. Last year, or no, 2023, I had a show in Brooklyn at Brooklyn Film Camera, and I had the photos framed there in Brooklyn by Tyler. So he helped me out with that show. And also, while he was kind of working on this book, we had a few different conversations where he would send over photos and we would kind of talk about them, and I would share my thoughts and bouncing ideas back and forth. And then when the books arrived, he called me and kind of told me what was going on, and I gave him the information for edition 1, which is who printed my book, which is who printed this book. So I'm super excited to see this because I've known about this book and I've seen the photos, but I haven't seen the finished copy in hand yet. And I'm super, like, I love Tyler's work, but I'm just super proud of him as well for putting something like this out there, for doing the work to self-publish and put it out there. And especially when you're faced with something like that on the quality aspect, I really applaud him for, you know, doing it the way that he wants it to be done, and that's making a quality book. So I say all that, you know, I haven't opened the book yet, but again, edition 1 is who printed my book, so I kind of know what to expect here. Where is the best place to make books? I know of places like Blurb and Mag, something or other. Yeah, Blurb and MagCloud are two of the sort of like print-on-demand services, as well as Mixam. This is through edition 1, which is going to give you a lot more control, as well as a lot higher quality. So this is A Crack in the Sidewalk by Tyler Woodford. Love this one. Love it as sort of an opening pre-title or pre, you know, beginning sequence. this out. So, The Crack in the Sidewalk, photographs from the neighborhoods of Brooklyn and Queens. This is not going to be, when you think of photos of Brooklyn, this isn't what you would necessarily think of. The neighborhood feel is, you know, that's the real focus here, or at least just the atmosphere, the environment, and I love it. Yeah, this is printed so well. And I love the feel of I don't know how to describe that feeling, but it feels nice. Need that strong summer sunlight terribly. This week was warmer and warmer a little bit, but man, I can't wait for summer. Just walking around with my camera. That's what this is. That's what it feels like. These are, if I remember right, these are all film images. And I think it's a mix of different formats of 120. To be honest, I can't remember. This is one of my favorites. I love you all. If you know me and you've seen some of the books I've recommended and things I've enjoyed, as soon as I first saw Tyler's work years ago, I instantly was like, you're a man of culture as well. It's just, I love I could tell he's a sucker for the certain kind of lines and just layering things, I guess, in spaces. Oh, what's up, Quaid? Matt says it's still ski season, though. No, I think we're all done with the ski season. That's what I keep telling my boy Trev up in northern Ohio. Telling him we're done. We've had enough snow. Got some snow today. Where you at again, Quaid? You might have told me before. I can't remember. Dan says his interview with Pauly B came at just the right time for me as I started shooting the series the series I've been shooting in my neighborhood. Yeah, that's a great episode. Actually, it's funny, in that episode he shoots a photo of it's like this tarp type thing that was up on a fence, and the print is here somewhere. I have like an 11x14 of that print, and I had it for months, and then I watched that video, and the day he shot that photo happened to be while him and Pauly were out filming that one. So that was cool to see the photo after having the print. Yeah, here it is right here. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it's in here. This one he made in that video with Pauly, and I'd had the print for months, and then I watched the video and got to see the moment he shot this one. I just loved. I told him when he first posted, I texted him and was like, I need a print of this. I love the way you can see it's like these little slats that were running vertically in the chain link fence, and some of them are broken. And the tarp with like the tear in the tarp, or the way it's kind of like blowing. I love all of just the not intended line and shape, and this feels like a little like city skyline. It is not what it is at all. It's just the lines that happen to be there. And I don't know, I could just stare at this one with all of the different overlapping lines and shadows. One of my favorite photos. Yeah, something about that one. Oh, Southern Indiana. Okay. Evansville. A light dusting, but I'm still annoyed. Yeah, I feel that. That's like when it would sprinkle just enough to not be able to skate anymore. Or when you're driving and it's not raining hard enough to turn your windshield wipers on, but you can't just not wipe them occasionally, or, you know, it's just enough. I think I told him before, this one reminds me of a Sage Sawyer photo with the clothesline there. There's a certain photo in her American Scene book that one reminds me of. Beautiful stuff, though. It's the kind of stuff that myself and I think from a lot of the people that I hear from, you all especially, kind of stuff a lot of us are drawn to. I love this one as well. We're going to zoom in on that one. Need to give a proper view on this one a little bit more. Love it. I really want to grab the new edition of American Scene. Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything new in that edition. Yeah, I can't remember reading anything about whether or not there was anything new in that edition. I have the original one, so I haven't ordered it. But being such a massive fan of her work, I'm like, well, maybe if there's a couple added pictures that aren't in the first one, maybe I could justify it. ask Kyle to hold one for me until Christmas or my birthday. That's crazy. The street sign just getting completely absorbed into the tree. Do you have any Holy Grail photo books that you just can't find? I've been on the hunt for Black Passport by Stanley Green for like a decade. That's a great question. At the moment, I can't think of anything. For a long time, it was Summertime by Mark Steinmetz. That was one that I would just continuously kind of keep an eye out for a couple of years, and then I ended up buying a copy from my best friend Kevin. I think he was the first. Yeah, he was the person that first showed me the book cover photo. That's a great one, but yeah, I don't think I have any at the moment. I'm gonna keep thinking though, because I feel like I'll probably be able to think of something. Man, I don't know if I saw people talking about it, so I'm assuming it is out there somewhere, published somewhere, but I don't know about if it was published like as a book. But Chris Vereen shared some work from, like, what was it? It was some sort of like high school. I'm blanking on it now. I can't even remember. But I saw they shared something recently, and I was like, oh man, this is work of theirs I'd never seen before. And I have Family and the self-titled book already, but I'm sure there's so many. I say that to say, I'm sure there are so many books that I'm unaware of just because I simply haven't stumbled across them, or it's not a book that's readily available enough that I would have, seen one, if that makes sense. Because I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I do find myself finding work sometimes that, it's sort of either a hidden gem book or just sort of, anything that's been out of print or obscure that you're just not going to be able to find. Sort of it's fascinating how many people's photo projects include ivy because of how invasive it is. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do love that ivy photo as well. Yeah, these are great. This is printed beautifully. Yeah, great point, Dan. Some of Robert Adams' books had been, so glad they got reprints recently. Yeah, I bought Los Angeles Spring. Summer Nights Walking. That's another one that was reprinted that I got from Robert Adams. Walker Evans Polaroids is my white whale. Brilliant collection of his SX70 period. Yeah, that is one that I've never seen in person, but would absolutely love to have as well. See, that's the thing. There are always like, I see so many books that I'm like, oh man, that'd be nice to just stumble across that one day, but I guess I just don't have any single specific ones. Nicholas asks, how do you discover new photographers or new photo books like that? I feel like unless someone like you tells me about a book or photographer they like, I don't discover much. Yeah, that's a great question. We've talked about it a little bit here on streams, but check out like Baltimore Photo Space is the photo book store I'm always recommending. Always, supporting as well. They have a great selection of books, as well as a newsletter where they're always sharing what new books are coming out. And then I always tell people use that as a way to just sort of, start branching out. Start with the bookstore, look around on the website, find out some books that look interesting to you, and then write down those photographers as well as the publishers of those books, because then you can look up those publishers, see what other books they publish. Oftentimes, if you find something from one book from one publisher, there's a good chance they have other books that might appeal to you. So look on their website, look through their catalog, see if they have a newsletter that you can sign up for so you can keep up to date on new books as they come out. You kind of have to do a little bit of digging, but it's worth it, and it's fun to just dig like that. It's fun to go on little rabbit holes of finding different photographers, and even looking at going to the library and looking at some of the more like traditional mainstream, I guess, photographers. Look into them and who inspired them, and start just start digging that way. Alex says, this style so difficult to photograph, or at least photograph well. I really struggle without a clear subject matter. I find this style so difficult. Yeah, I totally get that. I think I'm often looking for quiet scenes, and a lot of times this is just beautiful. I love this one. I've talked about it before. Working in the cemeteries, I'm a sucker for cemetery photos sometimes, but that exposure seems a little hot. There we go. I want the whites to kind of blow out. Sorry about that. Is that better on your guys' end? Let me know. But some of these things, some of them with nice, really hard light, and you get these really graphic, hard lines and all of this. But there's some things like this where it's very plain and very most people would be like, what do you see here, or what are you interested in here, because it's so neat and plain. And but that's the kind of stuff I love. And yeah, it's especially if you're not used to it. I don't know, it's how do you hold people's attention? And sometimes, me personally, I find stuff like this holds my attention so much more because it leaves the room and space to just look, and you're not getting hit right in the face with, direct subject matter that's so, I don't know, clear and maybe easier to digest, if that makes sense. Just signed up for BPS newsletter. Great call. Hell yeah. Good idea. Some art galleries, studios have libraries that may be available to the public. Oh yeah, that's a good call as well, Mel. That's one I always forget, because when I went to DC, we walked through, I think it was, I'll misspeak. I don't want to misspeak. I can't remember. We walked through one of the museums there, or galleries, and then Kyle was like, oh yeah, here's a bookstore. Like, just, here's the bookstore inside the gallery. And I was like, oh, that's, my little small town brain can't comprehend that. That's amazing. I wasn't expecting that on this little walk through the gallery. So we got to look at a bunch of different books there as well. And just awesome stuff. Afterword by Grant Doherty. Little The Colophon, photographs made between 2021 and 2024. Edition of 250, printed 2025. Amazing stuff. Tyler Woodford, A Crack in the Sidewalk. As I mentioned, Tyler's a good friend, very good human being, just a genuine nice person. And I'm super excited and proud of him. Check it out. I believe there are, I saw earlier today, I think he said like 30-ish copies left. So if you're interested, just Google Tyler Woodford, A Crack in the Sidewalk. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. I don't know the exact link, but you can get there. Let me see here. It's kind of like being a kid again, finding new bands through a band you like, through a band you like's record label. Yeah, exactly. Charcoal Books or TBW. Yeah, funny. Charcoal Books is based in Wooster, Ohio, or Worcester, which isn't terribly far from here. They reached out a couple of days ago and were like, "Are you in Ohio?" I was like, "Yeah, I am." When shooting exteriors like these, do you ever wait for the clouds to move to a specific location for the shot? I will sometimes. I guess it depends. Sometimes I guess I would, if the clouds are going to be heavily featured in the photo, I might wait, but more than anything, I'll wait for clouds to move if it's going to give me, it's more to either give me the light that I'm looking for or take away from it, less as a matter of like where the cloud is in the photo, if that makes sense. It seems impossible to get your stuff out there. Art and photography seem to be a network of people if you want to be seen by more than a handful. Yeah, I mean, for me, that was the whole reason I started sharing stuff online, on Instagram and YouTube. YouTube, it was really not to share my work. It slowly evolved into that. I didn't think anyone would want to see any pictures and videos for a while. But I do think in a lot of the maybe art world, which I feel very much like I'm like standing outside of a building and I can hear the music on the inside and I can hear what's going on in there, but I have no idea what it looks like. It's all foreign to me. That's what I mean. But from an outside perspective, I've always kind of felt that way about it, where it's like, it just, some of it to me, it seems like you just know a person, you know what I mean? Which I feel like that's probably most things in life, if we're being honest. But yeah, I don't know. I for all of the damage or danger it can cause, that was one of the things I always loved about social media, because I don't know, or photography wise, like, didn't know anyone. I didn't have a community of photographers. I don't know. There was just no access to anything, but I could just share things online, and it didn't matter where I was, if I was in a small town or not. That's one thing I've always loved about it. But in terms of, I mean, people will ask me from time to time, and I've been asked on stream, like, if I have advice or insight or how to go about pitching your work to a gallery or to a publisher, and I just say I don't know, because it's all foreign to me. I don't know how people, I don't know how all of that stuff works, and like grants, and I don't know. I don't mean it to say like it's not worth looking into. I just mean I don't know how any of that stuff works, and I think I'm not the person to ask for it. I'm lucky that the YouTube channel is a way for me to be able to like lean into self-publishing. And I only do it because that's like the kind of thing that is interesting to me. I don't want to sell like a monochrome preset or something, because I shoot a lot of black and white, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with people selling presets and things like that, and like making things for that, you know what I mean? I just, yeah, I wouldn't be able to self-publish as much as I do, I guess, or like in the volume that I've been able to without the YouTube channel. And so, I don't know, there's, it's not a moneymaker by any means. It's just, it's a fun outlet, you know? Exactly, same here, small town Arkansas, and I struggle with what to shoot. This book helps me see everything doesn't have to be so grandiose. Yeah, exactly, that's the thing, like, books like this and photography like this, it's sort of a cliche of like everyone has their own voice or story or whatever, but like that's true. You have your own perspective, and the whole world of like sharing work, sharing art, sharing photos, you know, it's a conversation everyone can be a part of. And now in terms of, this is interesting to talk about, and, you know, if I want to hear from all of you on all of this as well. The idea of getting your work out there and getting your work seen and noticed, I think it comes down to like, what does that mean to you? And if the issue is like to get it noticed, what is the goal to get noticed, or what's the goal with the work? And if it's to sell a certain amount, how many, or you know, I don't know. I think those are the questions that you have to really ask yourself to even have an idea of like what to do. because for me, those are questions I always have to ask myself of not like, is this enough, but what am I really trying to get out of this? Am I trying to share photos that mean something to me? Am I trying to make something in this format for the sake of the exercise? Like, I don't know. There are a lot of reasons to put your work into something like this, but I mean, I don't know how many left. I've still got a few hundred books left, out of 1,500, which is an insane amount of books. And so with Friend of Mine, I sold an edition of 1750, and I sold it way fast. I mean, it sold out before I even really had the final printing done and all of the copies like accounted for. So I could look, depending on your like how you would look at it, that book was a success, or a better success than Surveyor was. But I feel better about the pictures in Surveyor, or I think maybe better about the entire finished product more, or even the idea of saying product feels weird, but you get what I mean. Like, I think I'm happier with Surveyor from a photographer's perspective and from a book perspective. But if I were viewing it as I'm making these books to make money or to sell, and to sell as many as I can, I would say, okay, well, Friend of Mine is the better book. So I use that as an example to say, like, what are the things you're looking for, or what's the metric of, getting your work out there, or what's enough. I mean, I had a local show at the library a few months ago, and the only person that was there aside from myself was my wife, and she rode there with me. So, Michael Kenna's Holga is one of my favorite books. I'm pretty sure I've got that one. We'll take a look at that one here in just a minute. A friend of mine is a top tier painter and will randomly sell paintings for like $3,000. Even he has no answer as to the network and how the art world really works. He is now making Hobo Coin successful. Yeah, it's crazy. I always hear people talk about like money laundering and stuff, like crazy high end stuff in the art world. I don't know, dude. It's all foreign to me, but I get what you mean. Yeah, I don't know. It's so not predictable that I feel like I have no idea how to even feel about it. Happy Wednesday. Got my books this weekend. Thanks again. Very good, Richard. I'm happy to hear that. Thank you, man. Why don't they money launder with my art? That's a good question, Jonas. I feel that. Alex says, defining success as a photographer looks so different for everybody. So many incredible photographers aren't even on Instagram, and so many photographers who are famous on Instagram have never hung. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like, we only see a fraction of the great photography that's out there, and only a fraction of the great photography that's out there even gets posted. So yeah, that's a great point. We've talked about it before. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but that's the thing with like people who have no income or career attached to the craft. That's where I'm like, I get it. I understand why you choose to do that. I'm completely on the opposite end of it. It's been attached to like my entire identity and career and income and everything as long as I've Not as long as I've been doing it, but as long as I've been old enough to, start making money. The camera was a way for me to make money and put gas in my truck to get to and from town to go skate and go to the skate parks and so on. So I understand, as a result of that, I understand why people hold it so, they kind of keep it away from that in order to not burn out. All right, let me grab another book. Tyler Woodford, A Crack in the Sidewalk. As I said, if you're not familiar with his work, check out his work. And before the book sells out, you should pick it up. Oh, Benji, I appreciate that. Thank you, man. Where do we see the Matt Day Sponsor Me tape? If you think I was sending out tapes of myself, I was filming the tapes. I would have taken a sponsorship from JVC or Sony, Panasonic, anybody to help save on mini DV tapes. I was reusing tapes left and right. All right. So, let me see here. Who was it? Josh. Josh mentioned Holga by Michael Kenna. Let's take a look at it. I haven't shot with a Holga in a while. Man, one of my all-time favorites. It's just it just works. I wish that there were more contact sheets type of books available. I learn a lot seeing the method and the process. Nice. Josh, did you see the video on contact sheets? I made a video about that book, and then the Magnum contact sheets book, and then as well on stream, I think the week after that, we looked at Contact High, which is another book focusing on contact sheets from hip hop. I'd be happy to have a book published and have it on the shelf on my local library. That's my goal. I feel that. Yeah, I took copies of my books to our local library as well, just to hopefully one day. I would love the idea of one day down the road someone finding one of those books in the library, someone who maybe is interested in photography, or maybe someone who gets interested in photography, seeing photos of their hometown. That would get me stoked. Oh, you've got the book. Right on, Josh. There's a photographer out of Seattle who primarily uses a Holga. She also puts out a zine every so often of other people using Holgas or other cheap plastic cameras. Right on. Yeah, the Holga is a cult classic for sure. It's so good. There are photos that I've shot with the Holga that I like more than photos I've shot with, some of the most expensive cameras I've ever tried. I mean, it strips away everything, and you're left with just thinking about the photo. And I don't know, you feel like a kid again in a way. Plastic Perspective. Good looking out, Pete. She's asking submissions again for the next round. Right on. That's cool. Plastic Perspective. I'll have to check that out. I donated my Holga to a wonderful artist who does alternative process photography. She does more amazing stuff with it than I could ever conceive. I love seeing people who just do things differently, and do all kinds of different processes. We're going to take a look at Liz Potter's work after this because that just made me think of Liz, and she's great. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. And she's one of my favorite people to, just one of my favorite artists to follow on Instagram, but also, she's self-publishing and putting things out there and doing shows, and all of her processes that she does are so unique, and she's awesome. Big fan of Liz. Super cold back in France, apparently. Have never tried a Holga, but want to. Oh, Holgas are so much fun. Eddie, you got to try that, man. Michael Kenna's... What is that? Oh. Sorry, my head popping in. Hokkaido? Am I pronouncing that right? Hokkaido? Book was my grail that I eventually caved on. A real education in the mastery of composition. This is actually my only Michael Kenna book, so I'm going to look into that, Jeff. Good looking out. Do you have Iowa by Nancy Rexroth? I need to get a copy. Amazing work made on a Diana camera. No, I don't. See, this is great. I'm constantly... I hear people say, oh, I've never heard of this book or heard of this photographer. I love getting recommendations as well. Have you bought any of the Magnum Learn videos? What ones do you find inspiring? I have. I have bought, I think, 4. I want to say 4. Some of them have been better than others, for sure. Or at least, I shouldn't say that. Some of them have resonated more with me than others. It's probably the better way of saying it. Gregory Halpern, his is really good. I personally really enjoyed the Gregory Halpern one. The Alex Oath one is great. That probably goes without saying. What were the other ones I took? Matt Black, his was pretty good as well. Anna Starr. Oh, that's the name of Anna Starr is the person in Seattle. Okay. Right on. Oh yeah, Cat as well. Raphael. Not sure this will even buy you a cup of Joe. Maybe a 6er of the cheap stuff. Benji, I appreciate that. Thank you. Super appreciative. That will absolutely buy me a cup. I did have, I think it's all gone. Yeah, I heated up what was left in the coffee pot before I came out tonight. And it went too quickly. Need more, but I probably shouldn't be drinking more at this hour. I don't know. I'm one of those people, when I was growing up, this was one of those things that people always talk about. When I was a kid, I would always see my parents and grandparents drinking coffee around the kitchen table, like after dinner, after dessert, oftentimes with dessert. People would be sitting around drinking coffee until it was time for us to... Maybe that's why they were doing it. We had like an hour drive back home from my grandparents' house when we were kids. But I don't know. People always act like I'm crazy for drinking coffee in the evenings. But anyone else just have no issue with that? Matt Black's class was sick, but I feel it's better as a web series rather than a lesson. Yeah, I feel that. Matt Black's... Okay, yeah, let's talk about it, because Alex says, heard mixed things. Yeah, okay. Sorry, reading all these now. Dan, yes. Gregory Halpern, that one might be my favorite, in all honesty. I think... I don't know. I think he what I took away from that was I wish I could learn from this guy all of the time. I really I or listened to his lecture. Yeah, I don't know. It was great. Matt Black, I love his work and I love his mind. I think the format of a like teaching workshop type thing, which I do not envy anyone who makes those because I feel like I would have a hard time as well, despite making YouTube videos. I just think the undertaking of putting together something like that is a lot. And so I applaud anyone who even attempts that kind of thing. However, yeah, I think from a class or learn format like that, maybe the Matt Black one wasn't the one I would recommend. Or there was another one I took. Was it Jonas Bendixson, maybe? I can't remember. The two that I've returned to multiple times were the Alex Soth one and Gregory Halpern. I've revisited those several times, and every single time they're like exactly what I needed to hear, whether it just be a little bit of inspiration or something to get me thinking a little differently. Yeah, they're great. Matt Black has a teaching university edition of American Geography. That sounds interesting. That sounds like something I would really like to pick up because I really like his work. And I found everything that he said fascinating, but there was something about applying it to that format and like breaking things up into sections. I don't know. I'm reading some of these now. Quaid says I could pop open a Monster and go to sleep right after I finish it. Yeah, I'm not one that can go right to sleep right after my coffee, but I know people like that. But yeah, if as long as it's like you give me an hour to kind of cool off after a cup of coffee, I'm good. Alex, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Did not have to do that. I recommend Still Life's California by Rudy Vanderlands. I'll check that out. Appreciate the recommendation. Roll of HP 5 for you. Thank you, Alex. As a matter of fact, I just finished off a roll of HP 5 in my M6 today. It never fails. I go a little bit of time. I'll shoot my M6 and I'll go, all right, I need to cool it on the film. I'm starting to backed up on the rolls of film that need developed. And then that doesn't last long and I continue to add to it. Matt, here in Argentina, we are very far away and it's very difficult for us to access photography books, but I would like to recommend a local author who has published several books, Marcos Zimmerman. Okay, I appreciate the recommendation, Pablo. Marcos Zimmerman in Argentina has some documentary works that are incredible. Well, good looking out. Do you print your own photos often? And if so, how do you physically manage all the prints? I do, and I manage them poorly, if I'm being honest with you. I keep them stored in oftentimes print boxes that the printing paper came in. Tribe Called Film, what's up? I store my prints a lot of times in the boxes that the printing paper arrived in. I print usually here on an inkjet printer. Previously, when I had a darkroom set up, I would print in the darkroom, but any of the prints that I have, I usually keep in the boxes that the paper came in. I just reuse them because they make great storage boxes. And these tool chests that are behind me, you can see one right here. They have the long, like the wide, flat drawers, and they work great for storing prints. You can also buy like the flat file storage cabinets, which are oftentimes crazy expensive, crazy heavy, and if you find them on Marketplace, finding people to, that still have them and in what condition, these things I think work great for that same purpose, because some of the drawers are deeper. So if you need to store smaller boxes or smaller size prints, but they're in boxes, those drawers are great. And for the bigger size prints, the drawers are, shallow enough that you don't need to stack thousands of prints up. But these kind of things work great for storing the prints that way. I also have an entire wall of literal plastic totes that are stacked up on these shelves that are full of prints. Everything from like 11 by 14 to wallet-sized prints from my entire childhood and my brother's, my parents' childhood. I have no idea how else to store them, and that's something that I'm like trying to figure out, because I'm going to need to change up the storage out here in the barn. And I have a new scanner that I'm using to properly scan and organize and share this lifetime archive with like all of our family, and I'm trying to figure all of that out. So eventually I'd like to find a better solution on the storage of those prints. For my own personal prints, that's how I store them. I store them in the print boxes, or I go to like an art supply store and get the art portfolio binders. Those are great as well. You want to get something that is archival. So look for the, pH free or acid free, whatever the proper, you know what I'm saying. Look into that for proper storage of your prints, but for just the general paper prints that you don't want to get crumbled up and smashed up, I've got boxes and boxes and boxes that are stored in plastic totes, and I don't really know any better way than that yet, but I'm trying to figure it out, and when I do, I'll be sure to share a video about it. Got to shoot this weekend, and my goal is to finish off the roll. I'm going to use Portra 400. You got it, Quaid. I believe in you. John says, hey, first time on the live stream. Did you see Jeff Bridges is releasing a new Widelux this year? You're going to give one a try? It's been my dream camera for a long while. Yeah, I would love to try one. I did see that. My good friend Matt Price, I'm hoping he is going to be able to get his hands on one. He's been in contact with the company, and he and I have talked about doing some kind of video together on my channel. If we can, that will happen, but it is very exciting. I have that book as well. I believe I shared the book in a video like many years ago on the channel. Let's see. Thank you for being here, by the way, John. Looking to get into 4x5 and trying to decide between a Horseman or Wista. Do you still shoot 4x5 at all? What was your experience outside of what you had shared in the old videos? I do not shoot 4x5 at all. I have learned that I am not cut out for it. Nothing but respect to everyone who does do it. I've tried it. I don't know what it is. I think I'm too all over the place. I got to move around, and I'm too, maybe I'm just too neurotic for large format. I don't know. What was my experiences outside of that, though? Yeah, just that it's not for me. I had what was that camera? Chamonix, I think is the name. That's what I had. And it was great. Beautiful cameras, beautiful process, beautiful results. I'm just not the guy for it. Yeah, Jason with Grainy Days has a great series on 4x5. Check out Brian Burks. All of his large format stuff is amazing. Hey Matt, does Midwest Photo utilize you for teaching any classes there? If so, what topics and when? If not, what are they thinking? I appreciate that. Midwest has invited me to teach there and do one of their workshops, which is something I would like to do. I don't know necessarily what it would be, though, or what the class would be on. I don't know. I'm so all over the place, I think, photography-wise, or at least that's how I feel right now, that I think, like, I could talk about a lot of different things. Not saying, like, I'm an expert on a lot of different things, far from it, but without someone saying specifically what they want me to talk about, I'm like, I don't know. Hey, what's up, Horatio? I was thinking Midwest Photo in Wichita. Oh, yeah. Midwest Photo in Columbus is, that's the nearest shop from me, camera store. Thanks for answering my question. Can't wait to see that video. You're able to do it. Love the live stream format, by the way. Good to have on when editing. Appreciate that, John. That's good to hear. Let's see. A lot of photo paper suppliers will have a storage section on their sites too. Oh yeah, that's true. We were talking about, thank you, Pete. The prison video. I felt iffy about the prison video. I mean, the video I was fine with, but I didn't have many photos to share from February. And so the idea of sharing the photos, it wasn't really about the photos. It was just about being there. But I still was just the whole time thinking I want to go back so that we can spend more time shooting there and not be miserably cold. Let's see. Richard, have you thought about reaching out to Eagle Rock about being on the new podcast with Jason Lee? No, I haven't reached out, but Jason, the book Surveyor, is stocked there, or it was stocked there. I don't know if there are copies left or not, but Jason is... We've talked a couple of times about next time I'm in California stopping there. I don't know if their podcast is only in person. I don't know if they do remote ones or if it would be one I would have to do there. But I would personally prefer to do it in person if they ever ask. Because we've already said next time I'm in California, I've got to stop by there because I told them I'd like to see the place in person and share it in a video. But yeah, we'll see. Anthony Larson, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, the where's the bourbon at? You know, it's been a long time since I've had any bourbon. There was a Columbus meetup, like film meetup back in April of last year, I think it was. I think that's the last time I had an old fashioned. I think that's the last time I've had any kind of bourbon, or maybe I would have had, I don't even know if I had a beer over the summer. Been a while since I've had any alcohol. I've never been a big alcohol person, though. I drank when I was younger because, you know, I went to a high school in the middle of a cornfield, so when you're younger, in your youth, and there ain't a whole lot to do, and you're sitting around a fire most nights. That's what you do. But I was never a big drinker. A lot of my friends were, still are. Not me. Is there any dream photo trips you'd love to take? My two are Yosemite and Alaska. Those are two great options. I've never been to either and would love either one. Ireland. I've always wanted to photograph Ireland. I don't even remember where I first saw Ireland. It might have been in that, there was some like rom-com with, what's it called? It's got old dude from 300 and an old girl from The Karate Kid. Wasn't she in The Karate Kid? She was the teacher in that one movie. Hilary Swank. P.S. I Love You. Was that what it was called? Was that their movie? Where they go they go to Ireland. It might have been that movie where I was like, damn, Ireland looks amazing. I think that's what it was. But I've always wanted to go to Ireland. Oh, we're talking. Okay, sorry, I missed this, Benji. Have you checked out the app Photo yet? I love the way it really does your photos justice, which is what the entire thing is all about. I think I made an account. I think I secured the handle. I went on there, I logged in or signed up for an account with Matt Day Photo, cover photo. And then I think I closed the app, if I'm being honest. I don't most of the time I want to throw my phone into a hole in the ground because it's just it's too much. And I'm not putting it on the phone. I'm putting it on myself as well. I get overwhelmed and I also get sucked into it and just it's like the habitual side of, well, I'm not doing anything actively this specific second, so I might as well just like start opening up an app and scrolling for some reason. Oh, it's terrible. And so most of the time I'm trying to not add any new things to my phone. I was listening to an interview today with Adam Friedland, and he was talking about how he makes a living online and like through social media, which is, that's the boat I'm in as well. And not complaining because it's by choice and it's amazing, but obviously any kind of job, there are downsides to it, and social media, as we know, isn't the most fun thing. Yeah, the doom scroll. It's funny, Adam Friedland doom scroll. I think that's the name of the podcast that he was on. But he was talking about people spending their time on social media like for free. He was like, you're on Instagram and you're not getting paid for it. and I was like, I have never thought about it that way, but that's how it feels sometimes, where I'm like, if there's no obligation, if I could disappear online at times just so that I didn't have to be on it, it sounds amazing. But I'm always quickly reminded this is how I've been able to obviously support my family, but more than anything, not more than that, can't say that, but one of the biggest or coolest aspects of it is I actually have people I can talk to and have like a genuine sense of community around photography, which didn't exist in the real world for me here, in a small town. Anytime I say small town or hear small town now, that dumb try that in a small town country song. There's like a parody of it I've heard that gets stuck in my head. Let's see. All of us should be using photo. Oh, okay. You guys are putting those are the photo handles right on. Yeah, I need to get on there. I need to look and see, as well as Bluesky. That's what I still think of it as Bluesky, but Bluesky, the Twitter replacement. I haven't been on Twitter in well over a year at least. Actually, I think someone said it got hacked or deleted. I don't know. I haven't even looked at it. That site turned into an absolute dumpster so fast. So I haven't been on Twitter at all. I kind of hate that I feel like I need to work the social media to try and promote myself. That's the thing. Like I'm lucky that I started posting when I did, because I think if I didn't and I like just decided today to start, whether or not to start posting, I think I would have a lot more hesitation about it, just because it looks different, and I mean, I guess also, yeah, like the amount of people on there, I don't know. It's hard to put into words, like the feeling of social media and sharing things, and like yeah, exactly. Quaid says it's needed, but it can really mess with you sometimes. Gregory, what about good old Flickr? Yeah, I used to love Flickr, man. I learned everything I know about off-camera lighting through Flickr, and like the different strobist groups, and like looking at my favorite photographers and then seeing them post like their lighting breakdowns and stuff. That was so sick. People had like, oh, that was such a fun time. I mean, nowadays, that's the thing, though. Like, now we have full YouTube videos of all of these lighting breakdowns, and you can see a 60-second reel, and it will give you all the flashy, yeah, I don't know, but it's just, back in the day, someone just posting the photo and seeing it and interacting with it in such a slower, more focused way. Oh, I miss that. Joey, what's up? Good to see you, man. Mel says, I get overwhelmed by all the options and people and content and end up not sharing anything because I have no idea where to start. That is extremely relatable. I feel that way. It's one of those things where a friend of mine had this art piece that he had written on that said, I want to say everything, so I say nothing. And I had seen it years ago, but like for some reason recently, I had been thinking about it a lot. I'm like, I think I get that now. I think that one, like I'm able to like see it or understand it a little bit differently, because I can relate to that, where sometimes with YouTube, I have so many different thoughts and things I want to talk about, but I'm like, I don't even know where to begin or how to even present this. And that will be sort of like a roadblock. And in photography, in the same way, the ideas for photos or projects, even where to start, which one to begin with, but then also all of the photos that I have that I've already made and that haven't been shared, and it's like, what do I do with these? I want to do like a full website overhaul this spring or summer, and go through the archive and like actually curate different collections over the last 20 years, and give them, you know, a place to live that I can see them for myself, but also that I can share with other people. And it's such a massive undertaking that I'm like, I don't know where to begin. It's overwhelming. My homies always hype me up, so it always feels worth posting, even if it's not getting out to a broader audience. See, that's the thing. Like, as long as you're enjoying it, man, and you're having fun and you're connecting through your photography with your friends, like that's it, you know? Sorry if I missed it, but is that a laser printer you have back there for a project? It is a laser printer. I bought it specifically just for making image transfers for gel plate printing, but also for like little collage projects or even like small handmade zines. Yeah, that's what it's for. Oh, what's up, Vincent? Good to see you here, man. Yeah, the online. Sorry, I'm reading some of these. When I remind myself that IG and social media is not the end game for my work, I feel much better about what I'm making. Yeah, it's the idea of, well, it's just going to go on Instagram. Like, that has stopped me from sharing so many photos over the last few years. Like, I have just each year continuously posted less and less and less, and like losing followers because I'm just not on the app. And I'm like, I feel like I should care about that. I feel like that should be sounding off some alarms of like, hey man, doesn't matter, you need to be posting on here. I don't know, it doesn't entice me to post anything on there anymore in that way. Like, I will every once in a while. Every once in a while I'll post something, and when you see me post on Instagram, it's like, you can know I had the idea to post that like 30 seconds to 5 minutes max before you saw it posted. You know what I mean? Like, when I post, it's because I randomly thought of it and decided to post it then. Otherwise, it's never going to get posted if I like try to think about it and plan for it. Vincent says, I just posted something about sharing online. Every time we share, it's an opportunity for someone to connect to it. Leading with a community first mindset, I think, is major. I fully get that. Well said. That's amazing. Mel says, whenever I watch one of your videos, my fiance goes, what? Matt Day is sponsored by Squarespace? Sarcastically. That rules. Hey, bless him. Bless him. Keeps the lights on. You know, aside from my wife, no, KEH and Square is, KEH has beaten Squarespace out by maybe a year. And then Squarespace, probably my third longest relationship. Vincent, talking about a community first mindset, though, that's the healthiest way, I think, to go about it. I've talked about it before, the idea of sharing here on the live stream with everyone. Like, this is the first time it's really felt like I've been able to not visualize, but I don't even know the word for it. Now this weekly hang is a real like embodiment of the word community to me. It's like now it's this real thing because everyone is here. It's not just me interacting in private or, you know, to the camera for the YouTube video. It's changed a lot for thinking about like videos that I want to make. I've struggled so much with direction and trusting in which direction to go because it's like the YouTube channel can be so, it's whatever I want it to be, you know? I don't know. Tyler and I, we were talking a couple days ago on a drive to Cincinnati, and I was talking about how I want to make a video, and I think I'm going to make a video where I share all of this in a more like just off the cuff way, I guess. I don't know. I've really struggled with figuring out what videos to make and what people want to watch, and there's something about this live stream that has helped me, these weekly live streams, not just this one. It's helped me kind of understand what I'm doing, if that makes sense. I think just talking to the camera and kind of keeping myself in my own little hole, like you only see me when I make the videos, and when I have the videos, like, I don't know, the videos, they're on a schedule in the sense that I have a deadline. There is no set schedule, and so see, I feel like I can talk, I feel like I'm getting into what I want to talk about in the video, so maybe I should stop. I think it's helped me figure out why I'm making videos in the first place. I should say that. Maybe that's all I should say. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting too far into the weeds. Maybe I'm just in my head right now and I'm being insecure and I'm overthinking, and I think I'm getting too into the weeds, but I don't know. I think, let me see. I kind of dig your gel plate video. Kind of, oh, I meant real. Oh, you meant I really dug your gel plate video where you were showing off the process, but was narrating like some introspection stuff. See, that's kind of the stuff that we're doing right now, and it's the kind of stuff I was talking to Tyler about a couple of days ago, where I made that video. I mean, you said you really dug it. I made that video like within 12 hours before it went up. I made that video at like literally the night before, after everyone was already asleep, and I sat down and was like, what am I going to make a video about? And that's that feels so, it feels really vulnerable talking about this right now. Cause I'm not able to edit myself. This is just live, but I've talked about overthinking a lot on the channel and just like how much I overthink, but like it's been crippling, in ways that I can't explain. And some ways I can, like some ways I've been able to understand where some of those like roadblocks are coming from and like why I've been overthinking so much on some aspect. But when I don't have to make a video a certain day, it's easy for me to put it off because I'm not in the right headspace today. I'll work on that tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and I've had more time to think about that video, and maybe I need to do it a little bit differently. I need to put more time into it. And then by the third day, I don't like that idea anymore. I'm scrapping that. Think of that a million different ways. And it, or it could look a million different ways. But the live streams, like having something every week where no matter how I'm feeling or what's going on, unless I'm like sick, or the kids are sick, which Forrest is sick right now. Yeah, it's something that's like keeping me here and like I'm not keeping me here, but it's the one thing where I'm showing up every week, and I know people are going to be here with me, and there's an aspect of that has let me just be myself and not try to overthink of and like plan myself, if that makes sense. I appreciate everything you guys are saying. I'm reading these now. I overthink literally everything, including every message I send in this chat. I think about how I'm perceived and how I come across, and if I'm saying anything weird or inappropriate. Mel, I get you. I'm starting ADHD med soon. I'm hoping that helps. I was on ADHD medication for a while, and it was like life-changing. And then they just said, we can't get it anymore. And I was like, well, for how long? And they were like, I don't know. And then like months went by. And so I was just like, I guess I'm not taking that anymore because they just can't get it. And that was like a year and a half ago, probably. And my ADHD has struggled since then for sure. Constantly trying to like do better on ways to like work against it, but L-theanine works best naturally. I've heard that. I need to look into that. Frank says, if the Wednesday night lives are where you're feeling most comfortable right now, just keep rocking with these until the flow comes back to you for the regular vids. I appreciate that. I mean, that's kind of how I've been feeling so far this year, because I've been able to focus on like doing this each week, and we've been tinkering with all of the different, live streaming setup and everything here. But for the most part, aside from just everyone being sick and the cold, on top of that, I've been, in terms of the videos that I make, I've been so overthinking everything that, the videos I make them right at the end of the month because I need to in order for a sponsor deadline. If I want to make money, I need to make the video. So not having the set schedule, I've put that off for so long. I think mostly just because, it's just one of the things I've put off, really. Everything, like, this is what I was talking about with Tyler. Like, I'm at a weird point with YouTube where I still enjoy this aspect of it, where I get to hang out and connect with people. And that's what I've enjoyed so much about the live streams, is it cuts out all of the bullshit that I struggle with when it comes to making the videos and talking to a camera and editing myself and replaying everything I say and then sending that out there into the world and wondering what people are saying or how they're responding or anything. Or I can just sit here and talk like this and interact with everybody like this. And it's so much easier for me to do this than it is to like record the video, because I'm not editing myself in real time in the same way. Peace out, Frank. Good to see you. Good talking to you. Would you rather have a perfect memory or be able to forget anything you wanted at will? Perfect memory. It would probably be a lot harder. I feel like I would want to say I'd rather just be able to forget anything I want at will, but I would want to have the memory. Quit chasing perfection to your vids and put it out. There's something to be said for raw and honest. And that's the thing. Like, I want to make a video where I just sit down with just my phone and just record that way. simply because there's something about filming with just my phone that, I mean, like with these live streams, that's what I'm using right now to record. That's what I use on all these live streams. There's something about the language of that camera that I think about, like how a message through an iPhone video is going to be perceived versus that same message that's coming through, a high end, it's shot on a full frame camera and the lighting is perfect and everything is, I wonder about that a lot and how that affects how things are perceived, but as well as the attention span. I almost have this like aversion to really high-end, overproduced. I've been lurking. This is a great conversation. I appreciate that. Thank you. Vincent says, biggest thing I can say to everyone struggling to share online is that we need your art, especially in current times. We need as much light as possible to help uplift us. Well said. Yeah, that's the truth. I need to remind myself that of my own work and my own thoughts and everything. All of this stuff. This is all stuff that I want to talk about in a video that I'm too afraid to talk about in a video, because what if this isn't what people signed up for? Like, that's it, Edward says, feel that on being more raw and authentic. It definitely feels like I'm creating a deeper and more valuable connection versus the YouTube approach. And see, that's where I'm trying to. I know that if I sit down and make a video sharing what I want to share, and talking about this kind of stuff, if I were out there hearing it, I would probably benefit from hearing the things I want to talk about. Does that make sense? Did I say that right? What would I have wanted to hear? Like, what would have helped me? Those are the kind of things that I try to think about when it comes to making a video and what's worth talking about. And I always think, like, if anyone else is in a similar position as me, even if it's not photography related, it's worth sharing. And somewhere along the way, I got really, I think, self-conscious about sharing. Maybe it's just because of like over time of being on YouTube for so long, and I've shared so much over that 10, 11 years, that now it feels like I've shared so much of myself that if I say one more word about myself, all I hear is like me coming across as like being self-centered or like a narcissist or something. And all I can share is like my own experience, and it's always through the lens of like, this is what I've experienced, and hopefully you can take something from it to apply it to your own experience, because like we're all different, but this shit's all universal. Most things are universal. So like whatever it is I'm sharing, don't take it as gospel, as like this is the only way to do it. Take it and apply it to your own life and the way that it works. And I think there's no patience for that. Does that make sense? Benji, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Jeff says the conversational nature of what you're talking about would maybe work best as a conversation with someone other rather than just talking to a camera like a lecture. And that's the other thing as well, is like I feel like so many of the things I want to talk about in a video would work better in that format where I can talk to someone else. But it's just me. And, maybe that means I should do, maybe it should be a podcast. Maybe it should be a regular series then, where it's not a weekly podcast. Maybe it's just something, I don't know. I think I'm trying to figure out all of that, like where, if I'm going to be on YouTube, I want it to be authentic to myself, and I want it to feel real and what I actually want it to be about. So what does that look like for me right now? And or the delivery, like the actual delivery method of these videos or these conversations. Right now, the live stream seems to be the perfect delivery method for these kind of conversations, because we're able to do this kind of stuff. I could see it being a series because these thoughts ebb and flow. And that's the thing. It's like it's an ongoing conversation, right? There are always ups and downs, and that's how the YouTube channel for me has always felt. In fact, one of the comments on the prison video is what Tyler and I were talking about. How someone had left a comment saying, like, I'm not really feeling these photos, and I wanted to see more photos or something, which is fair. And or no, they compared the photos to, I think, Photos in Surveyor. Maybe I think that's what it was. And we're saying, like, I like the photos in your books, but I didn't like these photos and I wanted more of them, or something like that. And, I explained to them, like, this was literally one day in my life that I went there and took these photos, and I just share everything on the channel. It's not where I share my best work, and I said there are reasons some photos end up being in a video for 5 seconds in a YouTube video versus photos that get printed and get put in a book forever. And I think that's like another aspect of this where I don't know if my method or like what I share comes across the right way, I guess. Like, I don't want people to ever look at my channel as this guy is like a photographer on a pedestal, so like come here to see the pros do it. You know what I mean? Like, I've done photography for a living and I've done it for a long time. I'm still just a guy with a camera, just like experiencing life and navigating life as everyone else. You know what I mean? The only difference about me and anyone else is if that person doesn't have a YouTube channel and they're just putting their stuff out there, So I have this weird feeling about YouTube where it's become this thing where, like, because I'm on YouTube or because I have like a certain number of subscribers, it's like if you pass a threshold, now you've got to present only the best, or you've got to only do it this way, or only be and it's like, that's not real life. Art, life, none of it is this like linear trajectory just going up, 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 up. You know what I mean? Like, that's not realistic. And I'm not going to only make more, or I'm not going to make better work tomorrow than I made today, and then better the next day, and then better the next day, That's just not realistic at all. And I also, I've tried to, no matter how many times I preface in a video, like, this is just one way of doing it, it's not the only way. All of those times I try to preface that, I don't even know how, like, we're not experts on everything, none of us are. So if there's someone who every time they upload, they're telling you like this is like the hack or the trick or the whatever, Like, I don't know. Maybe this is just me ranting because I'm like burnt out on all of that. But I'm not a machine. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like every big channel or whatever, or like, I don't know, everyone is like selling everything as this is the secret. This is how you grow as a photographer, like grow your business by X percentage. And it's like, these are the secrets, and everything is about like, yeah. It's all of that kind of stuff where it's just like, that's not real life. That's not, you're not really being amazed, and your mind is being blown by every week there's a new thing that's just like changing the game. And it's like, what world are people living in? What? Am I making any sense? You know what I mean? I don't know. I appreciate you saying that, Joe. Yeah, well said, Jeff. I mean, it's, I don't know. We're winding down the stream now. I feel like I could talk a lot about this kind of stuff. I don't know. There's just something weird about YouTube, and the best photos are better than expected, so can you really plan for them? Oh yeah, well said. Edward, I just now saw that. Yeah, it just, I don't know, man. It's one of those things that I want to make videos that are genuine, videos that feel real. And that's what the channel has always been. It's always been just me kind of like sharing things as they come. But I've also put a lot of like unnecessary pressure on myself in the overthinking. So I feel like these two things have been just like boiling on different sides, where it's like there are things I want to talk about and things I want to share, but I have all of this self-doubt and insecurity, because I just think like there's so much noise out there already. No one else wants to hear this. I'm bothering people by posting this. Like when I had a talk in Philly, I might have mentioned this before, but the way I described it feeling then was like, it feels like I'm going to be going there talking to people who are like, this is like court ordered, that they're there to hear me talk. Not that they actively like signed up and like got tickets to come to this expo thing. But in my head, I was imagining it as like, this is people being forced to listen to me talk. And that's how it feels like sometimes with the YouTube videos, where someone's sitting there at their desk and it's like, all right, what do you got for me? And I come in with my YouTube video and I'm like, I don't know. I've been kind of mentally all over the place lately, and here's what I'm dealing with. Like, that's how it feels at times, and that's not the reality of it, No one gives a shit. Like, in the grand scheme of things, no one's thinking about it that deep. It's just me. And for a long time, it's like all of my videos get done end of the month, right before, because I literally can't procrastinate or put it off any further out of, fear or, insecurity. So someone, all of this whole, neurotic conversation started with someone saying they really enjoyed the videos on the gel plate printing because that was one I just threw together because I thought I have to make a video this minute or else I'm not going to get it done in time. What do I want to talk about, like, that actually feels, what do I really want to talk about if I could talk about anything? And that was the first thing that I thought of was I want to talk about this process and how people shouldn't wait to do it. Yeah, Jonas, it was all your fault. Got me in here just going circles in my head. But that's the thing, like, I've put stuff off for so long, and I've continued to do it for years, just out of overthinking. And a lot of times, if people, I mean, like, someone said it earlier, like the whole, you're the Bob Ross channel, or this reminds me of the Bob Ross, like, I get messages like that, and I want the channel to be a good spot, I think a lot of that comes down to, I mean, everything is projection, like everything that we're thinking and feeling most of the time we're projecting in some way. And I think a lot of the stuff that I genuinely would struggle with, those are the things that, like, it comes down to that, like, you got to talk about something that, give me something real, because I can't, like, not, you know what I mean? And when it's like down to the minute and I need to, like, get something out there, a lot of times it's people who are like, oh, this is like what I needed to hear right now. You know what I mean? And it's something that I literally needed to remind myself, you know what I mean? And, like, that's where the video is coming from to begin with. And so the universe has a funny, it's a funny, like, there's a funny thing with timing. Someone won a giveaway, and they sent me the address for the giveaway for a book that I was giving away, and they were like, "This is crazy. Today's my birthday," and I was like, the universe has a sense of humor, like, there's a lot of stuff like that I can't explain it, but I think a lot of the stuff that I'm always struggling with is stuff that other people are as well, and oftentimes, like, at the same time. And I spend, like, almost every month just, like, putting stuff off because I tell myself, like, that's not worth talking about or not worth sharing, but it is, and I've put so much of it as I've avoided a lot of it, I think, just because I've always thought, like, that's not what people signed up for. But I have told myself, I don't know, I've told myself a million times that kind of stuff where it's like, I got to get over that. I got to get over that. But I really feel like I have to at this point. And sometimes I think leaning into it with just filming with my phone and talking about stuff as they come to me, and not, where I think, oh, that's a thought. I'll come back to it later when I, have my thoughts organized more. And all that does is give me more time to overthink it and put it off. So, all that to say, I'm going to share a lot more of that on the channel. The more in between, just like, here are some thoughts. Like, that's probably what the video will be called. You know, if it's a video on, I don't know, overthinking. I don't want to talk about that really, but you get the point. Some thoughts on overthinking, and that's the whole video. Doesn't need a fancy thumbnail, doesn't need a fancy title, doesn't matter. And that's what I've like come to realize. I don't know, the channel over time has just been, it's always been like an extension of me and like just what I'm doing, but my life has obviously changed so much over the last 10 years that I don't know. I've kind of had a hard time figuring out what the channel looks and feels like, and so how to act accordingly to that has been a struggle, and I think a lot of it has just come down to that, where I've been stuck thinking and stuck in a loop. Probably most of it just due to depression and just stuff like that. I think both of my parents passing, like, that's definitely the one thing I think that over time since then it's come and gone, where I have periods where I kind of get stuck, and like looking back over the years at the channel and everything, it's a weird thing to look back and be like, damn, that's a version of myself that you don't like recognize, or I don't know. Cam, driving through the middle of Wyoming. You're one of the best, man. Appreciate you, Cam. You didn't have to do that. Thank you. Appreciate you. You're the man. I believe that's called growth. That's the thing. What's weird about it is when your growth is like public and just out there for people to see. And I don't mean that in a sense of like, oh, I regret being on YouTube or talking about things or being vulnerable. One of the most vulnerable videos I've ever made was made like within a week after my dad died, and I made a video just like sharing like, hey, go take pictures of people you love while you can, because it was literally like I begged him for years to let me take photos of him, and you know, he always fought me on it. And not one of the worst comments in the sense that like it hurt me, because it's insane what they said, but one of the most just like blatantly like hateful comments, I guess I should say. I can't repeat what they said, but it was on that video. But it was like in a backhanded way, where it was like they said the way that, and I'll never forget it, I remember reading it and like how they spelled it, but it was Matt Day is a, and I'm not gonna say what they said because it's insane. But then they said, but this is actually a good video. So it was like they were going to compliment me, but they still had to get that in there. But it was on that video of all videos. So it always makes me laugh when I think about it, because that's like the most perfect summary of what it's like to just actually try and like really be yourself and like share real stuff. But that is genuinely like the only way to like make it worth it. You know what I mean? Imagine if everyone could have the freedom, time, money, expectation to do what they wanted. What a wonderful world and humanity would be. Yeah, no kidding. Mel, I appreciate that. Normal people having a platform to reach people, phenomena less. I wouldn't believe you if you said, yeah. I appreciate that, Javier, as well. Yeah. All that to say, the growth thing on, yeah, it's weird. I've thought about it a lot lately. Looking back at the last 10 years and like, I don't know, your thoughts and how you feel about things like can change and you change, and I don't know. It's just it feels weird having different versions of myself out there when that's not me anymore, and like people are finding old videos and subscribing because they're like, oh cool, and then I'm like, part of me feels guilty because I'm like, I'm not really that guy anymore. I kind of feel like I am, but I don't know. I appreciate the therapy session from all of you for the last 20-30 minutes. Talking helps. Therapy helps. My therapist I was seeing is no longer a therapist because they got in trouble for something. So they said they're no longer able to practice for like 2 years or something. So not seeing that that same therapist anymore. So now you guys are, I guess. We as humans are dynamic. This is the human experience you're speaking of. Yeah, that's the thing, dude. It's like, I'm hesitant to talk about this kind of stuff because I don't want people to not like me anymore. If I can like strip it back as bluntly as I can, meaning like if people don't like this and then they're just like, this isn't it, I'm out, peace. There's a feeling where I'm like, oh shit, sorry. And it's like, I don't need to be sorry for that. And people will say like, you're the Bob Ross of photography or whatever. That means the world. I grew up watching Bob Ross with my dad, and that's obviously high praise. I try to put good things out there for people. I try to like put that kind of energy out there. But I need to like understand not everyone is going to like me or like the videos, and I can't cater to everyone. And I don't feel like I've been trying to cater to anyone. It's just that it's bothered me when I've thought about it in that way, where, I mean, that's where the overthinking comes in, where it's like, I just need to not suck in this video. I need to not drive people away in this video. That's like my only mindset. And I'm like, that's such a shitty, narrow, restricting kind of mindset to be in, to like not be willing to like stretch out and just be myself, and be present. Like, I show up mostly at the end of each month for the last couple of years because I've been in this like just mindset where I don't know, I don't think people want to see me in a weird way, or like I don't want to like bother people by being present and like showing up. It's a weird feeling. Again, the live, I think, is this is like, it's for sure helped me realize, that like I can participate and not just like, kind of keep my distance, I guess. Yeah, what you're mentioning is a season of transition. That's right, Vincent. That's exactly what it feels like. For every one person that doesn't like your work, there's always hundreds others that do. Yeah, that's the truth too, is like I say all this, I never want it to come across as like complaining or as if I've been treated, poorly, because I've been incredibly lucky. Like, it is that sort of thing where for every 100 comments there's one negative comment. And I can't even say that these feelings that I've had are like feelings that were created from negative comments. It's not even that. It's just this, I think for me personally, if we really want to get deep and vulnerable, I think it's like me maybe expecting more satisfaction, or more, maybe it's a matter of like, I thought, as I don't know. Maybe it's just a matter of I don't know. Like, I don't know. My mind just went blank. Let me read these. Sometimes you lose faith in your therapist and they say make mistakes because they're human. You must never depend too much on them. Yeah. A lot of real talk tonight. I always get something out of what you share. Thanks again for the time you give. You're a real one. Love you, dude. Love you, Tim. Thanks for being here, man. I also struggle with thinking showing up is not enough. Probably why I always bring a camera with me. But is it true? I get what you're saying. I think the camera has been a way for me to like hide from a lot of those insecurities and thoughts and like feeling uncomfortable in places, Yeah, I think I've just had to like change how I feel, my relationship with YouTube, and like, I don't know, all of it. And again, it's all been from my own, like, how I've handled it, and it's stuff that like for a while I felt like I was like just in this hole where I'm like, why does this feel so weird? And like, what did I do to cause this to feel so weird? But I think I remember that, or I think I forgot that I'm figuring literally everything out as it comes, just like everyone else. And I didn't know what to expect or how to navigate all of this stuff before I got into it. And I don't know. Yeah, now I've had this period of like a transition period and a feeling of like, not necessarily looking back only, but I don't know, a lot of learning from before. There will be days when you miss your old life, your old habits, and even the people you outgrew. Change is uncomfortable because it forces you to live in uncertainty, but uncertainty is where breakthrough happens. On reinvention, some words I came across. 100%, Vincent. And that's the truth. Like, after my mom passed and we moved here, and I sort of took on this new like caregiver role, everything on top of that, with like our family and having another baby and all of these like changes, I kind of put myself in like a little nest in a way, where it's like, all right, I'm gonna take a little step back, and I can really open back up more when I'm ready. And I think after like a year, I thought I was like through it, and then grief, like, it will come and go, and like it doesn't ever go away, at least from what I've found. I don't know. It's just a weird thing that you don't know about until you experience it. And so I think for me, I don't know. I tried to get back to it and like talk myself into it more than I thought I was. Whoa, I just tuned into a live stream from the sky, which seems like a weird portal into how is this possible. Glad to be here for what sounds like some real talk. We're winding down now. We just got into, we've been talking quite a bit about everything. I didn't expect to get into any of this tonight, but we kind of started talking, and that's where we ended up. But yeah, I think I've learned the importance of time, and it's making me think about how I want to spend the next few years making videos, interacting with everybody, this community particular. Grief is a powerful thing. Sounds like you're ready for the next chapter in your journey, and you're figuring out how YouTube fits within that. Yeah, exactly. It's tough, man. It's, I'm not a perfect person, and I'm not, I don't have it all figured out. You know what I mean? We've talked about that a bunch. Like, that's the whole point. That's the only reason I am able to enjoy sharing this kind of stuff, is because I know you all get it. Everyone experiences the same thing. It's all universal. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Jonas started it off with the comment saying he loved the video that I threw together because I was having a couple of really rough days. I'll put it that way. But I've learned, again, with all of you, each week we talk about it. It's been, it's been helpful. So the next book is a memoir, yes. If I were to make a book today, that's probably what it would feel like. But I've got plenty of other books I need to make. And actually, I want to share this. This is something I was digging through the other day. And it's my dad's old... this is like a little address book, and some old notes from when my dad first bought the cemetery, or the tombstone business. Let me switch this over here. So some of the things that this is my dad's handwriting. This is Jim Cooper's handwriting. This is the old timer that my dad bought this business off of. And I found this and started noticing all of the different notes that my dad made over top of like contacts and notes that he got from the business owner. But there's a lot of like personal stuff in these notebooks and notes that my dad wrote while he was learning how to engrave tombstones, and different things that I want to be able to scan in and include, because eventually the next book, maybe not next book, one book that I know I'm going to work on is the photos that I made while working with my dad in the cemeteries. Was your father a Mason? Yes, he was. That kind of stuff, actual, real things of his, are things that I want to include in the book from all the years that we worked together. And that's one that I have wanted to do for a long time, but I just have put off because I'm like, when I'm ready to tackle all of that, I will. But now I've been looking through that. I've been going through some of the old photos, his old toolbox. I want to get cleaned up and like use it for something in here. I don't know what yet, but yeah, I found that a couple days ago when I was cleaning, and yeah, I'm excited to include some of that stuff in some of the book and add more to it than just photos. But all right, this has been a little bit of a longer one. We're a little past 2 hours now. I appreciate y'all being here with me tonight. We got to look at a couple of books. If you're new, or not if you're new, but if you just recently joined and you want to catch the replay, we took a look at A Crack in the Sidewalk by Tyler Woodford, as well as Holga by Michael Kenna. I was going to be keeping the live stream replays only for channel members. However, there's a lot of people that can't make it specifically every week at 9 p.m. I'm just going to leave it open. Channel members will get some exclusive videos, as well as other things. That does remind me, Patreon. We talked about it before. I finally got Patreon figured out because it was linking to someone else's account. That all has been resolved, so I'm looking into that. I've been using the channel members so far. Appreciate all of you that have joined already. However, Patreon does seem to be easier to communicate with everybody, oddly enough. So I don't know. We're figuring things out. I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted. I've had a couple of people ask about it, but in the meantime, every Wednesday at 9 we'll be here, and appreciate you guys. Yeah, I will. I'll share some posts on like the community page here on YouTube and Instagram. I'll share some stuff everywhere. I'll put it in the newsletter as well, just so everyone knows. Patreon just seems like it would be a much more streamlined way for all of us to interact together and not just here on the streams. So I don't know. I'm looking into it. I want it to be something fun for everybody, and I want it to be a place where everyone gets together. Thank you all so much for tonight, for real. This was a fun one. I appreciate / apologize for the all of the conversation at the end there. Just talking more about the real life stuff. It was fun. It was much needed, and I appreciate all of you. Yeah, Discord as well. That is another one that I will be getting into, because that's the other thing. I want to be able to keep everyone, interacting together, not just with me. So, all right, I'm gonna quit yapping. Love you guys, genuinely. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Be safe.